Hello everyone, welcome to the preview show here on the Williamson Source. 14 games to get to. Let's go ahead and get to it. Franklin, Lincoln County. It's our game of the week. The Rebels bounce back in week 4 with a 30-20 win over Shelbyville Central. Joe Critchlow had 135 total yards of offense with 2 touchdowns, and the Franklin defense looked very impressive, scoring a touchdown of their own as Matt Gonzalez returned an interception for a touchdown. They take on a Lincoln County team that is 2-3, but winners of their last 2. It's homecoming for the Rebels. It's a tradition in Franklin, and it's going to be a packed house, but that's no different than any other game that Franklin plays at home. It'll be a rowdy atmosphere, and the Rebels will win that one as well, making it back-to-back wins since that gut-wrenching loss they had a couple of weeks ago. Summit, Stewart's Creek. Like last week, you might think this could be a winnable game for Summit, and it would mean a lot to the program. It would mean a lot to the program if they can win this game. As you look at the remaining schedules in District 11, it's only going to get tougher. And as much as we believe in Brian Coleman, we know what the future will hold for this football program. We know that they're going to continue to improve. Still, this year, not enough to beat Stewart's Creek. We got them getting the win. Oakland at Brentwood. The Bruins continue their tough schedule. We talk about it, I think, every week, how tough their schedule is. They show, though, in both district games, although Oakland is not a district opponent, as we know, but they show that they can keep games close, and that their record is a result of their tough schedule. And we believe they can keep this one close as well. Unfortunately, not close enough. Oakland pulls away with the win. Blackman at Indy. Indy has some of the best skill position players in the state. Really, they do. A good quarterback in Andrew Bunch, a good wideout in Nate Johnson, and a Dom Childress, the running back. Ravenwood showed last week, however, in that game that they're vulnerable. Maybe it's on the O-line. Ravenwood was able to get in the backfield for some sacks. The defense was solid last week from Indy after giving up 14 points, but it came on some fluke plays. I mean, you call them fluke plays, and maybe it's a lot of Ravenwood offense as well. You talk about a block punt that has nothing, that's not really on the defense. A 3rd and 10 from the 30 that Cole Brown was able to find Van Jefferson for a touchdown, and then of course that incredible catch by Alston Percy at the end of the second quarter, at the end of the first half. That was the only 3 scores Ravenwood had. Of course, they left some points on the board, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Blackman is a powerhouse. Ravenwood might have the best defense in the state, but the Blaze are not that far off. And that's what makes me think Blackman's going to get this win. But with it being at Independence, we don't know. It could go the other way, but we are picking Blackman to win. Overton at Ravenwood. Again, providing the Raptors with a huge challenge. I mean, Centennial, who I think is very good, only beat them by 7, 28-21. Where Ravenwood has to get better, and we talked to Coach Hester after that game, they have to finish drives. They left really 21 points on the board in the second half against Independence that would have put the game away, and instead a couple missed field goals and going for it on 4th down and not getting it. If they can finish drives, they're putting teams away, and the games are over with well before the 4th quarter even begins. When they don't do that, they leave those opportunities like they did last week for Independence to get back in it. They can't do that against Overton, but with home field advantage, Ravenwood does get the win. They stay undefeated, and that could set up what would be another monster of a game that involves the Raptors. If Centennial goes and beats Mount Juliet Friday as well, the Golden Bears average 32.2 points per game. The Cougars averaging 37.6 points per game, and this could be a high-scoring affair, although the defense for Centennial is very impressive as well. And they got a guy like Dylan Phillips who's receiving plenty of offers. That's the guy you like to have on your defense. Centennial 5-0, Mount Juliet 4-1 with that one loss coming to Blackman. We saw what a District 11 team can do to a District 9 team when Indy played Beach. And we still think the Cougars and the Raptors will meet as undefeated teams next week. We're taking Centennial to win that game. Spring Hill, Lawrence County. The Raiders got a hard dose of reality last week, losing 36-16 to Marshall County, a very good Marshall County team. And playing a Lawrence County Wildcats team that has been on fire since a 20-point loss to Giles County. They've won 3 straight, averaging 41.5 points in those last 2 games. It's not a must-win for the Raiders, but it's pretty close to that. The remaining schedule, CPA, Giles, Columbia, and Page. Spring Hill needs this win, and we believe they're going to get it. We're taking the Raiders to get the win on Friday. Page at Forest. Page also another team in need of a win. Since their 2-0 start, they've been outscored by 66, but again, to really good teams. The Forest Rockets are winners of their last 4, and their only loss as a 4-1 team, their only loss is to a team from out of state. They haven't lost a game in state yet. That team was from Alabama, and their offense is averaging 36.5 points per game. On the defense is only giving, this is in the last 4 games, by the way, and the defense only giving up 10.5 points per game. That's why we're taking Forest to win. It would be a big win for Page on the road, though. Going to be very tough. Fairview 2-3 taking on East Hickman. That's 0-4. Yellow Jackets were missing Hunter Zimmerman last week, and no disrespect to their backup Brad Camp. He threw a touchdown pass that was able to tie the game. Fairview had their chances, but with Zimmerman, they win last week, maybe even easily. Well, he's back this week. And the Eagles have lost 3 tight games in a row, and it will be 4 after Friday night. And then we'll have to see how close that will be. I think Hunter Zimmerman's ready to come back, and he's ready to put up some big numbers in here in Week 5. And Fairview's ready to get back into that district race, ready to get back into winning games as they dropped 2 of their last 3. Friendship Christian at FRA. FRA's defense was responsible for 28 points last week, and they only gave up 24. If you get a chance, even whether you're a neutral fan of another team, if you have the opportunity to go watch a guy like Keeling Hunter play, amazing. The guy can score on both sides of the ball. We saw that. He almost had 3 touchdowns, the 2 of them being on defense had he not dropped the ball trying to score at the 1-yard line. Luckily, his teammate Spence Jones was there to pick it up. Their offense had me eating crow last week. I said the only thing stopping us from picking FRA last week was the fact that their offense wasn't putting up a whole lot of points. They put up 63. Like I said, 28 points came from the defense. 21, and then they set up another scoring drive. But still, 63 points in that last win. Very impressive. The Commanders come in 3-1. They lost to Knoxville Webb 35-14 last week. We got FRA coming away with the win, though, as it's at home. PJP2 at BGA. PJP2 hung in with Innsworth for a while, and then, of course, Innsworth pulling away. In BGA's 4 wins, they're averaging 43 points and just giving up 14. The Knights have lost 3 straight, but of course, these are some really good teams, McCallie, Innsworth, and Baylor. Still, they will not have an answer for Ronald Cleveland, who I haven't seen anybody, and I've seen almost every single running back. I haven't seen anybody as fast as this guy. BGA wins that one over PJP2, another big win for the Wildcats. Stratford at Father Ryan. One team PJP2 did beat was Stratford, and they beat them pretty handily, 59-34. The Spartans gave up an average. They gave up an average of 56 points in their 4 losses. They have only scored 18 points in the last 3 games, 12 in one game, 6 in another. Meanwhile, the Irish have played a pretty tough schedule. They've nearly beat BA. Remember, just you look at that score and you say 21-3. Well, how close were they? Well, they were really 1 play away. A pick 6. If it goes the other way, 14-point swing, totally different game. Nearly beat BA. They hung in last week with Innsworth. We're taking Father Ryan to get that win. Science Hill at Brentwood Academy. The Hilltoppers are very good. They're 4-0. They're averaging 55 points per game. And you could say they haven't faced a defense like Brentwood Academy's, and you would be right. But still, Brentwood Academy, although in their first few games looked very good defensively, they gave up 52 points to Montgomery Bell Academy last week. Now, albeit that's a very good Montgomery Bell Academy team with a running back like Ty Chandler, who's an explosive back, and they have plenty of other weapons. But still, 52 points is 52 points, and Science Hill capable of doing that. As we said, they're averaging 55 points per game. But here's where the difference is. The Eagles are going to come out focused and ready. Last week, they were coming off an emotional win in double overtime. Sometimes it's hard to focus after an exciting game like that, win or lose. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Brentwood Academy, but a close loss to NBA, some of those signs may point to just maybe a lack of focus, but that's not going to be the case this week. They're going to come out looking to really make a statement in this game at home against Science Hill, but for a game that should be a fantastic showdown if Brentwood Academy doesn't pull away. Innsworth traveling to McCallie for our final game. McCallie is 5-0. They've looked very impressive, averaging 50.25 points per game in their first 4 games. If you look for something in common between these 2 opponents, they both have played a team from Kentucky. McCallie beating Bowling Green earlier in the season. It took an 80-yard drive to do so, but it was a Bowling Green team in the 5A division of Kentucky football that had won 48 games straight. Their last loss was 2010 in the playoffs. They've won 3 straight state tournaments, 3 straight state championships. So a very good Purples team in Bowling Green. Meanwhile, Ensworth's Kentucky opponent Trinity is also a powerhouse, and they're in 6A, and it never really felt like that game was in doubt for Ensworth. You always felt like they were going to win that one. The Blue Tornadoes might be the best team Ensworth has played so far this year, especially in the state of Tennessee. But really, guys, there's no stopping this Tiger offense. And that's why we got Ensworth to beat McCallie. There's our picks for Week 5. Be sure to look out for our wrap-up show coming up on Friday night. And, of course, you can always check it out on Saturday morning. And then on Monday, it's our highlight show. Look for all of that. We thank you for watching the preview show presented by Columbia State. We'll see you next time.